Hi guys, welcome back to Vedic Astrology. We are going to continue with our series of Lord in all the houses, and today we're going to be talking about the 11th Lord moving into all houses. This is pretty interesting because a lot of you would assume, of course, that 11th house means the house of gains, the house that signifies the fulfillment of your wishes, your desires. It is the highest calm trikona houses, means your desires are also going to be at the highest level in this place. It is the house that signifies the income that you're going to make, the gains that you're going to get in life. It is a signification of the kind of friend network that you establish. It represents your elder siblings as well. If you take a deep notice, it is third from your ninth house, which means it is the siblings of your father. So it could represent your uncles or your aunts in your family. It is 11th, of course, from the Lagna, which means it's a representation of all the significations that I talked about. It is 10th from your second house. It is how the money is going to work for you. The family money, the wealth that you're going to have. Some say, the connection between the second and the 11th is the biggest Dhan Yoga, Raj Yoga that comes into play. And yes, I agree, it is one of the biggest or the best combinations that is going to come into play from money perspective from this angle. It is the ninth from your third. Again, it is the highest degree of one calm house to the other. So third house, which signifies a calm house itself, it is ninth from the third house, which means that all the dharma, all the culmination of your efforts, your energies that translates into the fulfillment of those efforts is seen from this. It is eighth from your fourth. It is the hidden satisfaction, the transformation of the assets that you have and what you're going to recycle itself to generate something for yourself again. It is bang opposite to your fifth house. And this is where the most important definition of the 11th house comes into play. Because this is the fulfillment of the past life karma as well. It is the past life soul desires that you are carrying that can be seen from your 11th house itself. It is sixth from the sixth. Pretty interesting. This is where all the challenges that you face and the fight that you put against those challenges is seen. And this 11th Lord represents that too in a way. It is fifth from your seventh. It is the dharmic, karmic connection that you are establishing with your spouse. It is fourth from your eighth. The transformations that you are going to go through in your life, the assets of those transformation or the accumulation of the wealth of your transformed self can be seen from the 11th house in the 11th Lord. It is third from your ninth house. It is the efforts against the principles, against the moral values that you carry. Everything that you're, that the kind of support or the action that you take based on the recommendations from your superiors, from your bosses, from your fatherly figure can be seen in the gains that you're going to make. In fact, 11th house will also in a way represent the accumulation of efforts of your father in your life. It is second from the 10th. It is the deposits of your karma. And this is the second example, guys, which confirms, like I was talking in the ninth Lord case, where ninth house sits bang opposite to your third, to your effort. This house is sitting second to your karma. It is another confirmation from Vedic astrology that man can build his own destiny or woman can build her own. It is 12th to your 12th, which again makes a very phenomenal significance. Why? Because 11th house is the preparation of the next journey. It's a preparation of going into the next realm. It is whatever spiritually you are going to gain in life can be seen from the efforts or the desires that you have to be ready for that. And that is where the connection of 12th, 11th, and 5th becomes absolutely critical. 12th house is not just your expenses, but it is your investments of the gains that you've made from the 11th. If I were to give an analogy from, financial accounting perspective, what you would find is that 11th house is the representation of the cash inflow. 12th house, second to itself, is not just cash outflow, but the investment allocations that you're making in your balance sheet. And then the accumulation, savings from fourth is seen from the second house, the fourth, movement from 11th. So to sum it up, 11th house becomes absolutely critical from the kind of parameters that it has, the kind of attributes it has. But it's also very important for us to understand and note that 11th house is not just your desires, not just your desires from this life, but it is also the desires from past life, unfulfilled goals that you are carrying into this life as well, the dissatisfaction that you are carrying into this life as well. Because at the end of the day, there is something what we call as the pending karma, which was like an unfulfilled goal that you could not accomplish, which your soul had to its innermost depth, is what is seen from the 11th house itself. So we will try and understand. Most of the people say that 11th house is a house where most of the planets tend to do well. Yes, they do. But having too many planets in this house is also a very dangerous situation, because then it is not just a representation of the desires or the objectives or the gains that you seek, but also all the pains, problems, challenges that are also coming your way. Why? Because, if a desire is fulfilled, it leads to satisfaction. But an unfulfilled desire can lead to a lot of dissatisfaction as well in life. And that is why this house becomes a very tricky house. I love, when I see planets sitting in this house, but it brings, numerous amounts of challenges. And, before I started shooting this video, in fact, last night itself, as I was preparing myself mentally to today sit and do this recording, I was very perplexed into the negative aspects of 11th house. Most of my videos, most of my monthly reading, guys, you see that how positively I speak about the 11th house in itself. But before I was preparing myself mentally to talk about this house and its attributes and its connotations in today's discussion, I had some very weird emotions inside me that kept on triggering as to how the fifth connection with 11th is making such a deep impact in a person's life, and we tend to ignore that as well. However, let's get started and figure out that what happens when the 11th house is moving across different houses in our charts. So when the 11th lord goes into the first house, one of the most interesting thing you would note is that, of course, it's the highest karma house connection which is having with the dharma house. So this person is going to, you as a native are going to experience a flurry of emotions in you. The reason I say you are going to experience a flurry of emotions is that there is a lot of confusion that already comes with this placement. Yes, it's a Kendra movement. Yes, it's a movement to your Lagna. It makes your Lagna stronger, no doubt about that. But it's a flurry of emotions because 11th house naturally in a Kal Purush chart represents the house of Saturn. And it also represents Rahu's ownership. Rahu wants illusion. It wants to magnify things. It wants big. Lord of gains is coming into your Lagna itself. You would want big. You would want to achieve things that are not considered normal in a typical environment. It might be very hard for you to express your needs as well. Why? Because the elements of fifth are also coming. Remember, Lagna is ninth from the fifth house. In a dharmic connect as well, all these past life desires and emotions are also getting carried along with this movement of 11th lord into your Lagna. You will have some extraordinary goals, targets, objectives in your lives, and it will bring on some extraordinary frustrations because of this Saturn and Rahu impact also walking along with it. Delays will frustrate you. Magnanimity of your emotions are going to frustrate you. But this movement is third to itself. Means you are the person responsible to achieve those goals, those objectives, those gains, that income that you desire. There is nobody else that is going to come and help you. It is your purushartha. It is your own hard work. It is your own efforts which is going to help you achieve what you desire in this life or from your past life. It's a good combination because you will naturally find ways to succeed. Desires will, your wishes will somehow or the other, today or tomorrow, find a way to come to your life. Yes, but they could come at very high costs. And it is the amount of effort, it's the amount of costs that you have to see how ready you are to pay. Because Rahu, and I've talked about this in my transit videos as well. See, Rahu's energy is, it bestows a lot in life, but it demands a price against it. And Saturn, if you've had a chance to watch my Sadisati video, Saturn has this sadistic nature in it. So that sadistic behavior and that Rahu energy is coming into this as well. One of the greatest remedies, and I have not implemented this, but whilst I was thinking about it last night, I realized that this is a third movement. Penning down your thoughts, writing down a journal on a regular basis, or manifesting your desires, your goals by articulating them on a piece of paper, or in any shape and form, in the form of a video recording in your blog or vlog or whatever it is, to yourself, is going to be one of the most important things that you could do. Because 3 represents communication, 3 represents articulating, 3 represents writing that journal as well. So you will realize that if you start making this a regular habit, your journey to reach your milestone, to your goals, will become easier. Communication is going to play an absolutely important role as to how you achieve your targets in life. How do you achieve these objectives is going to see that how you articulate what you want. You have to first say that you want this, and then start working towards those objectives, because then this Rahu and Saturn energy is going to align itself with your 11th Lord's energy as well. You will have desires at a spiritual level as well. Not many people would align with this, but it's my personal interpretation that somewhere or the other, these desires will eventually lead to a higher spiritual self as well once you accomplish them. Accomplishing is important because the 5th house karmas are getting carried with this 11th Lord's conjunction or presence in the 1st house itself. So how you accomplish your goals, or when you accomplish your goals, is going to be absolutely critical in then leading into the next journey of your spiritual upliftment as well. 11th Lord here is going to be aspecting your 7th house. It is going to have an impact in your business partnership, in your spousal relationships. There is a very high probability that you could end up marrying the person of your choice. Now guys, I'm not saying that this is a yoga for love marriage. No. I'm saying is that this is a yoga where you could get married to a person of your choice. So even if it is an arranged marriage situation, or let's say, it's the network, the 11th house aspects coming into this place, which means that you could find your spouse through a social tool, through a matrimony site, or you might have a possibility of getting connected with somebody in your friend's network, and then that translates into a marriage of your choice. It could be that you find multiple options and you get a pick of what you desire secretly. It could bring a spouse from past life connection in your life. And your goal, your enthusiasm would be to fulfill their desires as well, because Lord of Desire, getting that marriage, is going to fulfill, work towards it. It's going to spend its energy in that direction. But also be mindful that the biggest of the challenges you are going to find from your spouse as well against those desires. It could be that they have a spiritual bent of mind and you are driven with materialism. It could be that their materialistic goals may not be as large, as big as yours. Or it could be they are not really aligned in what you are trying to achieve. So challenges doesn't mean opposition and obstruction. It could also mean misalignment as well. But yes, you will find a person that you desire. You would work with a person whom you desire or collaborate with. This 11th house energy would also mean that it will open doors for multiple sources of income for you. You will be motivated by materialism. You will be motivated by money. That gives you a kick and it pushes you, drives you further to achieve more. So that's a strong thing to happen, because see, any planet coming and setting in Lagna, somehow or the other, it does have a positive or some sort of an impact to your Lagna, and it makes your Lagna powerful. So your personality is definitely going to be stronger, to put in simple words. But at the same time, this same placement in a tricky situation can bring a lot of sorrow. It can bring a lot of pain. It can bring a lot of frustration, not just because of the Saturn and Rahu energy. Yes, they are going to cloud your judgment. Rahu is going to explode everything in terms of the goals that you want, and Saturn is going to slow down the space at which you are going to achieve those goals. But at the same time, you've got to see that how powerful or what is the dignity of your 11th house in itself. What kind of an aspect, what kind of conjunctions are getting formed there? Because that is definitely going to impact how well, how soon, how fast, or how delayed would your achievements be. And that is, I think, the biggest pain point. Once, I had made a remark about the presence of Saturn in the 11th house, and one of the, guys had made a comment as to how painful that person's journey has been from an 11th house perspective, and it gave me a different perspective completely to think about, because I had not thought from that angle, honestly. So I keep learning a lot, guys. When you guys put in your comments, you guys share your journeys, some of you put in the details of your conjunctions and your planetary positions. It gives me a lot of food for thought, because I am evolving along with you guys. So yes, I had never seen before that the negative aspects or challenges of the 11th house, but that is also that detrimental aspect is also possible. Your friend network is going to be huge. Socially, there is a very high possibility you have a very strong, big network. That network could be of use to you, or you could be devoted towards your friend network as well. But networking is definitely going to help you. It is going to bring achievement of your goals, because it is coming to your lagna. Everything about your personality, you have to understand, everything about your personality is going to get impacted with your communication. It's going to get impacted with your the kind of social circle you maintain. It is going to get impacted with the neighborhood, the kind of hobbies that you pick, short term journeys that you take. Every time, I think I've mentioned this before as well, every time you find struggle, start taking a road trip to a nearby town. Plan a weekend getaway. It's going to help you fulfill your wishes. It is going to be one of the another excellent remedies for you to find solution. Okay, I hope this makes sense. I thought a few more points, but whilst I'm recording this, it's kind of fading away from my head. But I hope this is relevant to you and you find this useful. When the 11th lord moves into the second house, this is a powerful yoga for wealth. See, the cash inflow lord is going into the profit booking, 4 places away from itself. It's a deposit of your assets. And I don't think this is a better way. If you've not watched the intro section, please go back and listen to what I just stated a few minutes back. But I don't think I can define it any better than this way. Of course, Parashari says that this is one of the strongest wealth yogas. But, as much as I keep reading BPHS and the Parashari principles, I think it is about understanding the constructs of the relationship between houses and the relationship of these house lords and their behaviors. And once you start understanding this, Parashari almost becomes predictive by itself. So 11th lord moving 4 places away from itself to the second means one thing is for sure: hook or by crook, whether or not you have any other strong placement in your lagna, in your 10th house, you are sort of born with a silver spoon. Why? Because one way or the other, your life is going to be sorted when it comes to find those gains. Wealth creation or a source of income will not naturally be existing in your life. You will not struggle on that regard. Very high probability you will have familial support, family support to enable that. Your family business could be one of the biggest possibilities in this combination, or you end up joining that family business. If not, that family business or source of income will remain a constant in your life. It is like e to the power x. That exponent is already there. X is what you have to figure out. Sorry guys, I keep on giving examples from different subjects that I love and stuff. If somebody is not able to connect to this, all I'm trying to say is that, you know, there is a basic constant that is always available to you. It's the multiplier that you have to think of, and the rest of the chart has to think of the multiplier. So even in a worst case scenario, that constant is always there. That constant stream of income, constant stream of gains, constant uh, achievement of your desires through the help of your family, with your own emotions, with your own mental power, with the support of your mother, would always be there. Your assets in themselves will multiply to give you the ballooning effect of whatever you aspire for. However, sitting at this placement, the 11th lord is also going to be aspecting your 8th. And what did I say? It is 4 places away from 8th. You see how powerful, it's going 4 places into the second house, and 8th is 4, from 8th 4 places away is your 11th, which so strongly tells me that some unexpected gains, unforeseen transformation in your life is going to further amplify your desires or your income or your gains. You will have a friend circle which could also be, a wealthy set of friends in your life. Your elder siblings will have a critical role in terms of helping you, establish you, support you in some shape or form. You will take measures to not just ensure your income is coming into place, but how you bring multipliers of your savings. So your investment strategies are also going to be very, very sound. And guys, you need to understand that when Dev says that 11th to 2nd connection is happening, but I'm not a multi-millionaire, I'm not a billionaire, and Dev, none of this is working out for me. You need to understand the overall strength, Ashtavarga, Shadbal of your houses, of your planets. And you need to understand that given your chart, how this placement is delivering results to you. This could be one of the most powerful things in your own chart. Now, if you are not having support of all other placements and you're thinking that just one yoga is going to be transformative, that's difficult. However, this yoga in itself, it'll be very hard for me to believe that somebody remains poor throughout their life with this. You are going to achieve your goals with this one. It might take some delays. There could be certain troughs that it might come in, that you might find in your life, that might come your way, and that is completely okay. But all in all, I do not see many negatives into this. It is okay if you are not associated in your family's business. If you even continue to, carve your own journey, your own path, that additional support is always going to be there for you. Your family is going to play a very critical role in helping you fulfill your wishes. You might find things on your platter, and people who see this will resonate with it. Maybe not for everybody, but yes. All in all, I think this is a beautiful combination. It is one of the most powerful combinations to have across all these 12 house movements. Now, when the 11th lord is moving into the 3rd house, when it goes to the 3rd house, it is going 5 places away from itself. See, and 5 and 9 movement in my mind are always the most, powerful movements. So, if you see, it's a trine connection. 11th lord going into the 3rd house or 11th lord going into the 7th house. These are going to be trine connections, and trine connections usually give very positive results. It's the Lakshmi Trikona, as we say in Hindi, that comes into play. So you would find that your gains will come through mass communication. It's one of the strongest yogas for you to reap gains out of social media business. Any connection between 3, 7 and 11 is going to amplify that opportunity. And of course, 5th too. We should not forget the energies of the 5th here. So 11th lord, when it is in the 3rd house, social media becomes a very powerful channel for you. You will have a large social circle where you will enjoy lots of conversations. You could be doing some collective activities together, like a street play, theatrics, some sort of art form, because it's the 5th connection that is coming into play, but in a group. It could be a result where you could be running your own band. If you want to start a band, guys, and if you have combination of this sort, please do consider. There's a very high probability you might be able to succeed with this, especially if Moon, Venus, etc. are going to make some sort of a movement, even a Mercury. So it's going to be a good combination from that angle. This is going to bring you gain of living in a high-end neighborhood. Whether or not you own your property, you will have the opportunity to live in a very high-end society in life. And you will enjoy that. You will enjoy the benefits of your neighbors. They are going to come and support you in some of the aspects of your life. Your hobbies in itself would be such that they would have some sort of artistic taste to it, some sort of artistic form to it. And your hobbies could become a side hustle, a side project for you. Like I said, something in the space of music or some sort of art form, or, an Insta, YouTube, TikTok sort of a journey. All of that is possible. Communication will become paramount in your career. You in your profession would be required, be it, again, this combination becomes a very strong combination for running your own business. Enterprising behavior, one karma house connection into the other, it will bring that ability in you. And even if you are not running your own business or you are in a job, it would still require you to do a lot of travel, short distance travels. However, the pain will come when you have to travel far. Spiritualism is going to change your thought process in this combination. You are going to be interested in different forms of religious beliefs, or uh, religious beliefs from other communities are going to have some or the other impact. It could bring in some sort of a confusion as well. At some point in time, you will reach a spiritual realm where you would not be interested with materialism too much. This could be, and guys, please take this with a pinch of the salt, okay? I'm not propagating or suggesting anything, but this combination can trigger interest in the higher self through the use of psychedelics. And those who do not understand what psychedelics are, please ignore and just move on, okay? This combination is like, it's going to trigger a different level of thought process in you, and you want to use such catalysts to reach there. Your siblings are going to be very lucky for you. They could be the reason for you to even connect with your spouse. Your siblings will have some past life karmic connection with you. The relationship with your siblings would be sort of a unfulfilled promise that you have to take a note of. However, there are some tricky bits that come with each of it. In this case, if there is a malefic impact, and see, malefics like a Saturn or a Mars, they tend to do well in the third house, okay? But if there is a malefic impact, it is going to bring in some sort of disparity, or some sort of friends with benefits kind of a situations, or intent towards your friends in your mind. I'm calling this out for the 11th Lord moving into the third house, and this is going to get stronger when the 11th Lord will go 11 places away into the 9th house. We will talk about that in a bit. But when 11th Lord comes into the third house, some sort of a relationship getting formed, or your desire to form some sort of a relationship within your friend circle, is going to be pretty strong. And it could cause challenges, especially if the malefics are in place. In case of malefics and some connection to your fourth as well, this is also a karka, or a possibility that you will see sudden losses, or what should I say, you almost putting everything at stake from your assets perspective and then going for the head. See, because you are going to bring in a lot of risk taking ability in this combination, okay? And in wild situations, you might want to go all in. Now I'm giving an example from a poker mindset here. So you would want to go all in for certain bets in life, and that can be tricky. It may or may not work out. You've got to see. And this mindset is coming from past life. Gambling sort of mindset would come from past life in this. You guys will very do very well, by the way, when it comes to stock investments, stock market trading with this combination. Pretty well in this combination. Very, very good combination for that. And I'm talking about investment, not trading here. Okay. I'm talking about investments. I'm talking about not speculation, but educated guesses, planned strategies around that. So you running a venture that manages investment of people is also a possibility here. All right. I hope you enjoyed this. Please smash on that like button if this resonates with you. So when the 11th Lord moves into the 4th house, it is going 6 places away from itself. Kama house is forming connection with your moksha house. It's the house of your satisfaction, your peace, your knowledge, connection with your mother, your emotions, and your lord of gains, aspirations, wish fulfillment is coming into a Kendra house 6 places from itself. And see, the connection is 6 to 8. From the 4th house, 11th is your 8th. If you've not had a chance, please go and watch the 4th Lord video as well. This one is going to be critical because somewhere or the other, you will have deep desire to build assets. Your emotions are going to play a very critical role in how you fulfill your desires. And your emotions could be anything, guys. It could be your anger that drives you. It could be your empathy that might, make you do something in whatever realm you want to operate in. It could be the push, support from your mother, that instinctive behavior from her to guide you as to how you can get whatever you want. You will have huge desires, by the way, to accomplish, again, that Rahu and Saturn energy that I was referring to, big property, big assets. And I'm specifically mentioning property here because real estate is going to be very, very critical in your mind, and not just some normal real estate. You would want a mansion, not an apartment. So the magnanimity again is going to be high in this case for you guys. It's a Kendra connection, so it's a good connection. But it is one of the challenging connections. It's a challenging connection. Why? Because it is getting formed 6th to itself. So the obstacles, the problems, the enemies will always be there. The hurdles will always be there for you to accomplish these goals with respect to all the avenues that I've touched upon. You will have this hunger to derive knowledge, and your knowledge is going to be absolutely critical to derive the gains, your objectives in your mind. But you will struggle to find that knowledge. You will have to run through hoops to acquire the right information. And in some industries, some businesses, information is the key. In fact, for most of them. And that information will be a problem for you. How do you find the right support, the right mentoring, the right guidance? You will be battling your own laziness. See, because 4th is the house of relaxation. You want to be free in this place, in your own zone. It is your man cave. And your desires are coming into your man cave. So this is going to become very, very critical from that. Having any kind of dubious relationships in life is going to be detrimental in this combination. They will lead to distractions. 11th Lord is also distractions. And that is why I've been saying it is lack of peace. It is 12th to the 5th. This combination is, in a way, you've got 11th Lord or 11th house construct from your past life. So somebody whose wish fulfillments could not happen because of certain challenges could be seen from this placement. So you have to strive hard. You have to be disciplined about whatever dreams, ambitions, Rahu and Saturn are going to throw in you. And I'm constantly taking these two planets along with their energies, along with the 11th Lord energy. How big it can be, how colossal it can be is of course great. You might feel, so fulfilled that Dave, I have this combination and I've actually achieved some big assets in life. But remember, some of the biggest challenges to the peace of your mind would also come with this challenge, with this placement. You are going to have a constant tussle at your workplace. You would want to, it's like you want to achieve 100, but you will constantly find yourself falling short at 70 or an 80. It's the 6th movement which is going to do that. Your biggest hurdles are going to be coming from your workplace itself, from that angle itself. But at the same time, you will constantly be working to be growing your assets, to be growing your income. Again, here it is important, like I was saying in the Lagna, for you to have some sort of a check, some sort of a control towards your desires, because those uncontrolled desires are or could become a cause of potential sorrow in your life. And I know, guys, it's kind of frustrating. I have one of these combinations and I completely know what I'm saying here. Not this one, but the more the desires you have, there is a higher probability of that frustration building up in you, growing in you as well. And I don't mean this, to be all negative, because see, at the end of the day, it's your Lord that is going to help you achieve your goals. See, irrespective of all the challenges that are coming, one good thing is that it is going to provide you that push as well. You have to understand that your objectives, your targets are bigger than what you see in your vicinity, in your surroundings. There is a very high chances that your mother could have a very good, strong social status. If not that, your job, your profession, your work is going to deliver you a very good social status, especially with people who are working in the elements related to the sixth. If you are in the law industry, banking industry, finance industry, you are going to do phenomenally well in this case. Some of the astrologers, people who are interested in occult, could have this combination as well. That possibility will also come into play, because it's the eighth connection that is going to amplify. However, I think broadly speaking, if you are able to find a balance, see, you guys are knowledgeable. You have to understand. Moment your fourth house becomes strong, knowledge is there. I'm not saying education or degree. That understanding is there in you. If you are able to rightly rule your chart and find that balance in your life, this is again one of the very strong combinations that is going to come in your chart. And it is going to help you achieve some major social status through your profession. People are going to respect you for what you accomplish. They are going to look up to you. When 11th Lord is moving into the 5th house, and it is going bang opposite to itself. It is going into the house which has the deepest connection to 11th Lord and 11th house in itself. 11th Lord coming here is going to be aspecting its own house. What a beautiful connection is this. But it is one of the strongest karmic connections that is coming into play. It's stronger than the trine connection of 3 and 7, guys. Because here the desires that you are going to have in this life are not just the desires that you've developed impromptu, that I want to achieve XYZ in the next 5 years or whatever that is. Your desires are getting carried from past life itself. Your soul could not accomplish something in the past life, and you are just carrying that madness in you. First of all, you will have a very, very driven romantic life. Very, very driven romantic life. And all your romantic connections have some karmic connections to it. I would want to see the trine connections in case of a guy, the Rahu with the Venus of the lady, or the Mars of the guy with the Venus of the lady. The Venus of the guy with the Mars of the lady, or even a guy's Ketu with the Venus of the lady. All those combinations become absolutely critical. But right as I've been saying all this time, Rahu and Saturn energies will also be coming to it. So there will be a tinge of, how should I put this? There will be a tinge of illusion, shrewdness in your relationships. And yet, there has to be some sort of justice. I'm not finding the right ways to express myself, guys, here. But see, Saturn is, at the end of the day, is the lord of justification as well. It tries to be just, not justification. It tries to be just. But Rahu has to play his games. So those energies are going to come in your romantic life as well. And you could have potentially multiple relationships. And guys, when I say multiple relationships, it doesn't mean that it has to culminate into some sort of physical relationship itself. It could be very well emotional, or some sort of a bond that you develop with multiple people, not necessarily with the opposite gender. Yes, highly probable with the opposite gender, because I'm talking about the romantic aspect, but within the same gender too. LGBTQ community, if you're watching this, you would want to see how this placement is working out for you. There is some very strong connection coming in for you too as well, from a romantic aspect. Hopefully this is the connection that is going to bring a lot of fulfillment in this life. You have to, because the opposition in itself is also desires, and these desires are coming as a backlog in your case. So hopefully in the fifth house, it is leading into the fulfillment of those desires that you've been carrying for so long. And no matter how the world sees you, they sees this in a very positive way. I don't have this connection, but I still see this in a very positive way for you guys. You could be very well misunderstood because of your desires, and I feel for you. Okay, I genuinely feel for you, because it is hard for people to decipher what's going in your head, but you are carrying it for long. For people who are not having that sort of an emotional strength to whatever I said, you would find a lot of gains from your education. You will grow post birth of your child. That is going to bring an uptick in your life. Education is going to be remarkable in most of the cases. If not that, stock market investments, again, very, very good. Very, very good for you. It may be a very good idea for you to consider a business profession. Again, this is a very good combination, along with third, along with your lagna, where if it goes into the fifth house, it gives a very strong possibility of you starting something of your own, and you might find the right partner to collaborate as well. It will pan out for you. However, the tricky bit is, see guys, you are carrying all these emotions, all these desires from your past life. A lot of your energy is going to be spent to fulfill those desires. However, accumulation of more desires is definitely going to happen in this lifetime too. And that will become a pain point, because it's the opposition that you're getting from the 11th itself. Like I was saying in the case of the lagna, when it moves into the lagna, same way when it moves into the fifth, this challenge is going to come for you guys, where dissatisfaction, even after accomplishing few goals, accomplishing some objectives, will still brew. You wanted to study in one of the most premier B schools, one of the most premier engineering colleges, law colleges. You accomplished that, and then you set goals to accomplish post this, after accomplishing your first desire, and you see that desire, that goal, that objective in itself has become a pain point. You studied out of an Ivy League college, and you're not deriving the impact of this education in your profession the way you would desire. You understand how this is popping up? Like, you have to find that connect in your chart. You wanted a male child, a female child, and that child doesn't turn out to be. You have to see the dignity, the placement of your fifth lord as well. They don't turn out to be the way you would have wanted them to. Can be the biggest pain, man. And that's why, I felt so emotional when I started talking in the intro of the video, that how challenging this 11th house placement is. This 11th lord can bring in a lot of happiness, but it can bring in a lot of distraction and distress as well. And this is again where you guys watching from fifth house perspective, you have to please figure out that where do you find this balance in life. Now we will talk about 11th lord going into the 6th house. It is going 8 places away from itself. Again, 8-6 combination is coming. Sudden transformations are going to come in your life with respect to the problem that your enemy throws at you, medical situations that you might encounter in your life, and you overcome them. You are going to come out of them, but they are going to transform them, and maybe to a certain extent, that is what your desire or goal fulfillment could be. Your desire could be to overcome the challenges that are coming, and unforeseen challenges, transformative challenges coming in your life. It's a hard combination, but it is not a bad combination. It's a good combination. It is going into your 6th. It is going into the house of your enemies, challenges, competition, your job, house of divorce, right? Sixth house is second to fifth. It is the culmination of your fifth of your past life karmas. It is your prarabdha, if you see. And that is where your 11th Lord is going. Your desire is to overcome your prarabdha, overcome the problems, to fight against the battles that you are going to face in your life. And this ability to overcome is something that you are going to, the Scorpio energy is going to be very, very important. In this placement, I would urge you to see what is the status of your Scorpio house in your chart. Very, very important for you guys. Or maybe the Mars placement. Mars becomes critical. From 6th house, Saturn is also the Karaka. So is Mercury to a certain extent, because Mercury gets exalted in the 6th in the Kalpurusha chart. But your ability to transform yourself and come out of these pain points. See, here the goal is not a wish fulfillment of getting more money, because people just tend to associate it from money. It is not just that aspect, guys. It is your ability to succeed, your ability to overcome. That is what 11th Lord is saying. It is the culmination of your hard work, culmination of your efforts. Where? Into the 6th, through the 8th, which is what is going to be valuable for you. And because it is going in 6th, that is why I am constantly talking about prarabdha. I'm constantly referring since the intro of this video that how Rahu and Saturn are going to play a critical role into the energies of the 11th Lord into various houses. So when it is coming in here as well, Saturn again along with Mars plays a very important role from your chart perspective as to how you are going to succeed. So it is very important for you to understand that what kind of problems are coming in your life and your plan to overcome those problems. However, at some places plan might not work. This is one place where I would say how to rule your chart might be the toughest thing to do, because it is transformation. You have to find that phoenix moment inside you to come out of it. But remember, this is aspecting your 12th as well. And here I'm not going to touch upon the expenses bit, that you gain money from your job, you are going to achieve social status from your job. Yes, that's a possibility as well. You could be in the medicine profession, you could be in the law field, you could be in banking or insurance and stuff, and that gives you social status, that gives you extra source of income, that helps you rise and shine. Yes, that possibility is there, and thereby it also aspects your expenses house. But beyond that, see, you have to read now with me at a higher level when we're talking about this placement. It is not just beyond this. If you have this placement, I will assume you understand all of that and it works for you. But there is a deeper meaning for you guys. The deeper meaning is it's your evolution as well, guys. Because it is aspecting 12th, second to the 11th. It is the banking deposit of your 11th Lord. So this transformative journey, very powerful combination. Guys, it's a tough combination, but it's a very powerful combination. Many places you will see people negatively talking about it. I like to see positive things. See, world is full of negativity, right? People are doing fear mongering. Nobody is trying to give hope. I know hope was the last thing in the Pandora's box, but you have to think about it. Because at the end of the day, we have to culminate that strength, and especially you guys from the 6th perspective, you have to culminate that strength within yourself to fight against what is written, what is destined, what is the prarabdha in your case. So your energy has to be driven in that direction. And this fight, guys, this transformation in you is going to elevate you at a spiritual level too. You will realize, many of you would have already been through this journey. Most of my audience is up to the 40-45 people age. And you might not have experienced this, but some of my audience, about 20-25%, are beyond that age as well. And I would want you guys to please comment and share your experiences, that what you've seen. I'm pretty certain you have seen certain transformations in your life journey which has elevated you to the next level. And 11th Lord, its Dasha, Antardasha would have played a very critical role, or the Dasha of the 6th house, where 11th Antardasha would have come into play. It would have played a very important role in your life. If you have this placement and you've heard, thought, seen a lot of negatives all around, please do not you know, do not throw your ammunition. Do not let your guard down. You must be ready for this transformation, for this fight, and you will overcome it. And remember, biggest of the challenges are thrown at people who have the ability to overcome those challenges. That is what Krishna says. So if you are facing these challenges, means either you are prepared to fight them or Krishna is making you ready to fight them. I usually don't bring Krishna in my readings, but I'm speaking with a lot of passion with you guys because I see a lot of negativity trading around. This is one of the very strong, good combinations because I think it is going to be making you better for the battle that lies ahead. If you liked it, please smash on that like button. Now, if the 11th Lord is going into the 7th house, your gains, your desires, your wish fulfillment is all going into the second karma house, and it is 9 places away. Your spousal connection is written. It is maktub, as Paulo Coelho says. It has been there. If not, please watch the 7th Lord to 11th as well. I talked some bit with that 5-9 connection here, and like I was speaking few minutes back about the third house, this connection is written. Your partner, or even any kind of associations that you form in life through the course of your life, they were all meant to be. They were supposed to happen. However, your spouse is going to be somebody who has a past life connect with you. Again, that fifth energy, Rahu and Saturn energy, as I was talking in the intro section of the video, they all will continue to come and sit into the 7th house as well. You will see that your desire to marry a person of your choice is very high. Same as I was saying in the Lagna Lord case. However, this could also be a condition of love marriage in multiple charts. Let the 7th house and the 7th Lord also be in good placement. It could be a strong indicator of that. You will find very strong possibility that this is a combination where you are able to lead your own business. Another combination in the chart that along with Lagna, along with 3rd, 5th, 7th is another combination that brings the ability to run your own gig. I mentioned in the 3rd and 5th that those combinations are good for social media, and I mentioned that the same thing applies for the 7th as well. In this connection too, you could shine very well in doing a social media related gig, a business related to social media, e-commerce kind of business too. That will be a very strong probability in your chart. Reaching out to the masses, being successful when it comes to politics could be seen. Your interest in politics could be of high magnitude. More importantly, from your married life perspective, this will bring in a few tricky situations. See, the problem is that whilst one good bit is that it could bring gain through your spouse, but it also could bring gain of a spouse. What does it mean? It necessarily just means a second marriage. It could mean some additional relationships as well. Especially because Rahu and Saturn's energy are getting carried here, guys. And whatever, it's not that you are going to meet just anybody and have relationships, but your relationships are also meant to be. This is not a justification of you doing so, but it's like it's meant to happen. See, Rahu's energy here is going to bring in that deceit, that hidden behavior. But remember, Saturn's energy, as I was saying in the intro, is also getting carried. Decisions are also going to come out. If you're 11th Lord, and by decisions I mean outcomes of marriage through the decisions of your spouse, through the Saturn decisions of your house, of your spouse. 11th Lord is coming into here. If it is a malefic, it's going to be very, very turbulent for your marriage. Especially if Rahu or Saturn themselves come and sit here, it's going to cause a lot of problem. Very challenging. Mars could be problematic here as well. However, the benefics are going to be much more better placed because they are going to, in a way, sort out some of the, some of the issues that you could potentially have. It is going to, like the 5th Lord connection happening to the 7th, not just the love marriage, but the unfulfilled goal somehow in your past life was to fulfill a lot of physical desire. physical goals. And somehow you might be very motivated to do that in this life. Now, I'm nobody to tell you that, guys, this is how you find balance, or this is what is right or wrong. Neither I'm there to judge, because I've stopped doing that. The more I get into this field, the more I read and analyze, I've stopped judging people, because I feel that it's something that we did not choose our chart, right? We were just born with it. So I've started seeing people from a different lens. But when I'm trying to give this message to you, I would want you to just look back and introspect what is right for you, what is right for your partners, even if additional partners, what is right for them, what do you want to offer them. It is going to be aspecting your lagna as well. So how these desires are going to shape your character, shape your personality, it is going to be very, very evident, for good or for bad. How the world is going to see you because of your need to fulfill your desires. And it could be somebody sees you very ambitious, somebody finds you extremely greedy, somebody might find that you are a very selfish person, all motivated for yourself, and others might find you a pervert. And there could be several other adjectives, right? Maybe somebody finds you an altruist, because at the end of the day, seventh is also public, right? And your desire is to do something big, grand for the public. It could be community service as well. So you see how this is transforming, and that is where I leave the choice with you, for you to decide, if you have this placement, how do you want to shape, because eventually your personality, your lagna is going to also get shaped with this. And again, this is not just desires, this is not just the goal of making gains, money, income through your seventh. Your partner could be very, very fortunate for you in terms of achieving your financial goals, by the way. It's a very strong combination from a Dhan Yoga perspective, like the second. But at the same time, this carries with itself that energy of distractions. It carries the energy of illusions. And you have to find your balance by understanding your own chart, by understanding your own larger objectives. And I hope this makes sense to you. All right? When the 11th Lord goes into the 8th house, it is going 10 places away from itself. 11th Lord is the Lord of all our wishes and desires, as I talked about. And now it is going into the 8th. 8th, that represents occult, which represents research, which represents everything hidden, the unknown, the dark secrets of life. And this is where it becomes a tricky combination. It means that your wish fulfillment is going into the karmas, into the efforts that is somewhere hidden. It's a tricky combination to begin with in my mind. Because one, it is going into the house of moksha, the highest calm house, Lord. And then it is going into, into a house which is fourth from your fifth house, which, as I talked in the intro, forms a deep connection in this entire journey. And first and foremost, the bit is that you are definitely going to be excited and interested in occult. You are going to find that this is one of the strongest combination for people who want to practice something related to astrology, tarot card reading, any kind of any kind of tantric sciences as well, that you might want to do in hiding. People will be very, very strong in all tantric stuff. Like you would have a natural understanding of mantras, and you might use some of that knowledge for your own desires, for your wish fulfillment. I do not have an expertise in this, and I do not understand this construct, but naturally what tells me is that all black magic and the negative tricky side is what I'm trying to refer to, the voodoo kind of stuff, can come with this combination. The black magic, as people talk about. This combination can trigger thought process in that direction as well, especially if you're carrying that Rahu energy, or even a Ketu energy with you in this space. Ketu will be actually much more positive on the mantra side of things, but Rahu energy could be something of that sort. See that illusion, that interest, that malefic shrewdness towards the hidden, towards the unknown, interest towards criminal aspects of life and deriving gains out of that, success in that. It could be a very strong combination for you to become a mafia if you have one. The underworld, that sort of connection is seen with this combination. You will derive a lot of gains, success, fame, like the Pablo Escobar kind of people. Because it's the 10th connection. Your efforts, your energy will go into the hidden, into the unknown. You would develop interest into, especially into, post marriage, extramarital sort of affairs. Very high probability. This will come into play in that case. Especially if luminaries are coming into play, they will give you opportunities to explore that. And a sun could bring a loss of respect as well. It'll be found. It'll come out and open. It'll be hard to hide. So it'll be a challenging, aspect from that direction. Your energies will somehow get pushed in that direction if it is all culminating into a negative way, negative side of things. But at the same time, you could be very, very good at research. You could be an excellent spy. You could be very good when it comes to, see, Rahu, not just Rahu, Saturn's energies are also coming into play. If you're working in a chemical industry, you're working in mining and oil and gas and all that stuff, you could climb up the ladder. You could find massive wealth and success in your career in these areas. So the same combination can have drastically different connotations and outcomes. But one thing is for sure, unlike some of the other combinations, once you fulfill your desires, you will find peace. I have been telling it for most of the placements that you have to figure out how do you strike balance with your desires, with what you want to accomplish and stuff. In your case, it is going fourth from the fifth. So that satisfaction that yes, I can now take a pit stop, or maybe I can now take rest because I've achieved with whatever I wanted. That possibility, that moksha could definitely be available here. And this is just 1 degree before the ultimate of that is going to be seen from the 12th house, the ultimate satisfaction. But you guys are going to be fortunate from that aspect that when it comes here with this 10th movement, you will leave no stone unturned to achieve your goals, your targets, your objectives. But once you find that, you will settle down. And then I think, see, in most of the planets other than moon and sun, the ownership of planets sits for 2 houses for the remaining 5 planets, right? Rahu and Ketu also have co-ownership itself. So what you would find is post achieving your goals and objectives, this 11th action will become sort of dormant, and the other ownership or the other lord the ownership of the other house will become more prominent in your chart, and the placement with respect to that will be more active. So you will find some sort of peace or closure, I think that is a better word. There will be a karmic closure to your desires in this placement. And it has to come with the efforts that you are going to make. I will not be surprised if you find people support as well. But it will be transformative. It will be transformative for you in the sense, unlike the way I was putting it for the 6th house people. It will be transformative for you because the energy of the house in itself is transformative. You will do your karma. You will see that transformation. You will generate, for example, enormous amount of wealth. And then you are like, I'm done. Because why? Sitting in the 8th house, it is aspecting your 2nd as well. But it can bring some challenges. Your hunger to achieve your goals, your passion to put that karma in place could take you to places that could be unimaginable for your family. It could put your family at risk at times. Like you will play high-end, high-stakes games. You will not be afraid to take those kind of bets. This could be something like some of you might make very, very, very speculative calls in your life. Very high chances of people in the field of gambling doing something of this sort. People of making some very crazy shit, stock market, cryptocurrency, future and options swap kind of investments, something extremely crazy with your efforts. And once that bet pays off, you would back off. But it could be as detrimental in a negative situation. It could be as detrimental as destroying your family. It could either result into massive wealth, the way I've discussed in the eighth lord video, or it could be like really crushing. So you have to know that where your karma, your energy is going. And you see some of the biggest, and that's why I brought that analogy of criminals into play as well, because you see some of these biggest criminals, they achieve the highest pinnacle, which some of the biggest companies might not be able to achieve. There is a story of Pablo Escobar that he was escaping with all his millions and billions of dollars, and his daughter was feeling cold in the night because they were stuck in a forest, and he had this bags of loads of cash in US dollars, and he set them on fire so that his daughter could feel warm in that cold night. So imagine that once you achieve that sort of magnanimity in your life, you are so much at peace that nothing bothers, and you are just satisfied, you're just content with whatever you have, and you are just managing things. But it could be as detrimental for your family. It could be very challenging for them. They might not be able to understand the kind of madness, the kind of craziness which is running in your head. So this placement is not going to be a spectrum. It's going to be an either or kind of a situation in life. And it's going to be very drastic. But of course, you have to see the dignity of all other planets, all other combinations. Do not just jump into conclusions with one placement, one movement. You have to see what is happening. Maybe for you, making a $10,000 bet is the biggest thing that you can imagine. For somebody, that is 1 day's of income. But that could be the biggest bet of your life, $10,000. But it could be the biggest thing for you. But at the same time, that satisfaction that you are going to find, which is the best thing that I feel in this placement when compared to any other placements for all house movements, is that eventually you are going to find that peace, and you would say, I'm going to put my feet up and relax. I'm going to call it a day. So if you have this, I hope you get the chance to call it a day and you can relax. All right. We will now talk about 11th Lord moving into the 9th house. This is an interesting combination because Bhavarth Bhavam is coming into play. 11th Lord is going 11 places away to itself into the 9th house. Very, very, very interesting combination. What you're going to find is that first and foremost, your desires are going to be fueled by their desires. Or how should I put it? Your 11th Lord's attributes are going to be fueled by the 11th house attributes. Your ability to fulfill your goals, your ability to fulfill your objectives, to extract extra income would have some or the other way the all connections of 11th. Your friends could play an important role to that. You could have an interesting support from your elder siblings. Your own hard work and efforts that you've put in, which is leading for you to see 11th, 9th, 10th, they all sort of feel interconnected, and 9th has a connection with 5th as well. See, this is a fortunate combination because it is going into the house of your fortune. You will be very lucky that whatever you desire or you ask for, it is going into your house of luck. So you are going to get support to fulfill those goals, those objectives. But it is also a tricky combination because 11th is going 11 places away. It is positive. Yes, Bhavarth Bhavam says it is positive. But it brings weird nature within you. Like I was referring to 11th movement and 7th. 11th movement into 9th means your desires are going to be towards your friend circle itself. You might end up forming relationships and connections within your friend community, or some of your elder sibling could have some sort of relationship with you. This is a very dark side of this combination. But if it is a malefic, remember in the intro of the video I said Rahu, Saturn, those energies are constantly getting carried in this. constantly moving along with you. So that Rahu's connection or any other malefic, even for that a Ketu or a Mars, could 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 cause that problem where you could have certain experiences which are very dark in nature. It could bring certain dark attributes within you, and you will not find people talking about this, but this is very much a probability. Why? Because 11th signifies that network, friend connection. It signifies that siblings, elder siblings connection. It signifies that cousins of your father's side, connection through them. It signifies, you know, the ultimate goal of your fifth house. And all of those things coming in the course of desire. See, 11th movement is a desirous movement. It's a desirous movement in the terms of you wanting more of it. And as per Parashari, while in the Kali Yuga, in the modern world, we've been talking about a lot of advantages of the 11th house. It has not been seen in the most positive sense because this is the highest form of kama. So they tend to attract energies in a negative sense as well through all these attributes, and this is where you will struggle. However, the beauty of this placement is that it is coming and sitting in the ninth. Your father is going to play a very important role in fulfilling your goals. If you are in a job, your superiors, your management team, your bosses, they are going to support you to help you achieve your goals, whatever you desire for. The challenge you are going to find is that one desire will lead to another desire propping up, and it could be an endless cycle for you. It is the 11th to 11th connection that is coming into play. But somehow or the other, the connections that you establish are not just the fifth house aspect that I've been talking throughout the video and I mentioned in the start of the video, but it is fifth from the fifth as well. So those connections, those incidents, those desires were also meant to be. All the complications that you are finding in this life from the past lives, unachieved desires, they are coming because they were meant to happen. They are like the unsaid promises that are transpiring into your desires in this life. And that is why it is both a fortunate and an unfortunate combination. You see how 11th Lord going into 8th is somewhat better than 9th, right? It is counterintuitive. And throughout this journey of the house to house movement, I have been emphasizing on how Bhavarth Bhavam is so important. But this is one place where it becomes tricky because it puts you in an endless hoop. You are a person who will not find satisfaction. Again, this is the problem that I was referring to the Lagna as well. This is the same problem I was referring to the 7th as well. Finding satisfaction in this case is going to be troubling. One desire will lead to the development of the other desire. And somehow you feel that you're like, even if you achieve your objectives, your goals, say you put a target of making X amount of money in a quarter. Even if you breach 90% of that, you feel not the happiness of achieving 90%. First of all, you will put tall goals in place. And then you will not be happy about achieving those, missing on that tiny bit. Because now you want to achieve more of it in the next quarter. So the ability to enjoy what you've achieved will get diminished because of ask that gets built in you for the next pillar. And that is where, guys, you have to think that where you want to draw that line. Managing the 11th Lord in our chart is one of the most critical and difficult things to do. And we have to learn to rule our chart. 11th Lord, when it moves to that 10th house, it is going 12th to itself. Is it a loss of your desires? Could be, yes. But it's a very strong connection. It's a connection to the Kendra. Yes, it is going 12th to itself, but it is going into the house of karma. I really love this connection. I love this connection because when 11th Lord goes into the 10th, you are the people who work, who put effort towards achieving your goals. Unlike some of the other placements, you set desires that are achievable. I mean, that Rahu and Saturn energy is going to be there. Like I started talking in the intro of the video. If you have not watched, go and check that out. But remember, Rahu and Saturn tend to do pretty well when they come into the 10th house. And this is where what happens is that you will be able to break down your desires, your goals, your objectives into smaller problem statements and work in that direction. And which could also mean that you would be prepared to let go. This is the 12th movement bit of it. You would be able to let go of some of those desires if unfulfilled, or if you feel that they are too difficult to work for. After the 8th, I think this is another good placement where you have the ability to be satisfied at a certain point in time. Your own karma, your own hard work, your profession will play a very important role in this case to achieve your goals. Somewhere or the other, because it is going into the 10th. So that workaholism, that intent to push yourself to the zilt to achieve, see, because once you set a goal, you will not leave any stone unturned. And when that happens, somewhere or the other, you will find this opposition or letting go of your peace, letting go of your family, not spending enough time with them, or your effort could also be motivated and driven to help them or accomplish their desires as well. Like, you will be driven to achieve that as well, but like, still they may not be satisfied with whatever you do. Now, this is the pain point here. In yourself, you will be accomplished, you will feel that peace, you will find that peace, but they would still have something or the other to complain. Or your mother could be a very nagging personality, like she would nag on every small thing. Not to you, maybe to your father. It's another trait that is possible in this combination. But in this reading, in this assessment, we are spending a lot of time in terms of what is going to come in terms of your soul journey. So your heart, your past life desires, or, another way to look at it is that whatever you want to accomplish from your social status perspective, from your public persona perspective, from a political life perspective, from a leadership standpoint perspective, you might be able to achieve in this life. Your energy is going to get spent in working towards that direction. So it's a beautiful combination. Even if it has a 12th aspect, 12th movement to it, it's a good thing, because you might read, watch, or whatever that some desires are unfulfilled. No, I think you have the ability to break down your goalpost and figure out how much of an effort is required over a period of time to achieve whatever you want, and then let go of whatever is not coming in. It's okay. You will be having the control of letting go of distractions from your life, which is a beautiful thing to happen. And what better to ask? So again, this is one of the strongest connections. It's a Kendra connection, and I think it's one of the strongest Kendra's connection that is coming to your chart. If it is there, congratulations, guys. You are a happy soul. Now, when the 11th Lord is sitting in the 11th house itself, very powerful combination, very stressful combination, especially if Mercury is sitting here exalted for a Scorpio. Very, very powerful. It is like your past life accumulated karmas, accumulated desires, both of them are coming together and sitting in one place. And your spouse will leave no stone unturned in your case to support you to fulfill your desires as well. I'm telling you this thing, 100%. This is a combination which is a very strong Dhan Yoga, after or along with the second house connection that I referred to earlier in the video, where you will find constant stream of income. You might be able to, create your parallel gigs, parallel side hustles, or even your own business. Even if you're in a job, you will have a constant stream of income from your job and something along with it. It could give you an additionally working spouse as well. That is also a very strong possibility with this. But this combination is sort of a lucky combination. It is luckier than 11th Lord going into the 9th. Usually when any planet goes into the 9th, people are happy about it. But this is a luckier combination. Saturn and Rahu's energies are naturally sitting here and supporting you. So that magnification of Rahu is any which way is there. But what you are carrying is those unfulfilled desires from your past life that you could not accomplish, that you could not fulfill, that left something unachieved, is now coming 7th to itself in a higher form of a calm. So that zeal is more in you in this life. And your spouse, your post marriage, getting married is very important in this combination. I would want you, if you're not getting married, you should, because your entry of your spouse in your life is going to add to your success, to your wish fulfillment. Romance will be very high if you have this placement. You will have a very good physical connect, not just emotional connect, but a very strong, good, positive physical connect as well with your spouse. Of course, seventh house, seventh lord, and bunch of other things have to be seen. But broadly speaking, this will be a very good sign there. It can give you multiple romantic relationships. You will settle down post marriage, but yes, that is a possibility, and that is also pending karma. Like you had these small tidbits of um, roles to play, or those people had some roles to play in your life. They come, they play their part, and they go. Doesn't mean just the physical aspect of it. Some of the audience are like, they just think of in one line. No, romance means romance. It means making the other one smile with small, beautiful, lovely actions. That part is something you will play very well. So it's a beautiful connection from that aspect. Challenge is, this 11th could become a badhaka as well in some cases. Okay, it could become a badhaka in some cases, and when it is a badhaka, um, these same things that I've referred to, the same romance, the same partner, these same desires, will become the biggest pain in your ass. Oh my gosh. Then this is not a beautiful connection. I know malefics still tend to do well. Exalted planets are going to do well here. Everything is great, but badhakas are going to create big problem for you. And I think then this same combination is the last thing you would want to see in your chart, because it is going to be the build up of the 11th house for your next life, for your next dimension, whatever that is. And someday I want to talk about dimensions. I someday want to touch upon this entire thing of multiple lives, or maybe multiple universes together. I have my own thought process against it. And I'm not saying I'm bigger than Parashari, but I just try to rack my brains in different directions. I'm a science student. So yeah, so that same 11th placement in a different realm or within the same could cause a lot of problems. It might give you better results in a different realm, not in this one if it is a badhaka. But otherwise, this is maktub, as Paulo Coelho says. It is meant to be. All right. Now we will talk about the 11th lord going into the 12th house. It's going into the house of moksha. And for everyone who thinks this is a bad placement, I have bad news for you. It's a good placement. I think this is one of the best placements that is coming in your chart. You might have heard a lot of negativity around it. We are going to talk positive in this channel, and I want you guys to think on things up in a positive light in your life. It is going two places away from itself, second to itself. It is the asset, the accumulation of your desires, the unfulfilled ones as well. It is 8th from the 5th. Saturn and Rahu's energies are going to the 12th. Rahu in 12th is exploratory. Why am I talking about Saturn and Rahu? I referred in the in the intro part of my video. I talked about it at length, so you want to check that out. But Rahu in 12th is exploratory. It wants to discover. Saturn is one of the biggest spiritual planets. There is nothing as big as Saturn when it comes to spirituality in itself. And that 11th Lord energy is going into the house of spirituality. It is going in the house of investments. Do not see this as spending. Do not see this as spending in this reading, guys. It is the evolution. It is the evolvement, not involvement. Evolvement of your desires to a higher form. It is the transformation of your past life. It is your movement to the next realm. And it's a beautiful movement. Because now your desire would be to achieve the ultimate. You know how Elon Musk says he wants to transform and, start life in a new planet. How crazy that sounds to a mundane ear. But it is transformative thought process. I'm sure many of you who have this kind of a placement, who have this sort of an association, you will find that, see, why Saturn is not able to perform abysmally bad when it comes into the sign of Pisces. Why Venus gets exalted in the sign of Pisces? Why? It's the sixth movement for Venus. It's a troubled movement, right? No. It's a movement into the Prarabdha. It's a movement into the second place from fifth. So when 11th Lord is going to the 12th, it is also aspecting your sixth. So it is like everything, every battle that was meant to be, your desire will be to overcome those battles. And not just those battles. You are at a different league, at a different level. I talked about some of this bit in the 11th Lord 6th. Even if you don't have that placement, please go and watch it. It is important for you to know it. Please go and watch it. And for you guys, it's the ultimate pinnacle because you are going to make it a notch better. Because you are not just here to overcome the bits of the sixth house because 11th Lord is aspecting the sixth. But you are going to invest yourself into gaining all the elements of 12th. Your 11th Lord is the preparation, it is the readiness for the evolution. So your desires will be much higher than a normal person around you. I'm very confident 101% about it. And if at whatever age, gender, situation you are in, if you are not in that journey yet, you will reach there at some point in time. If you are not in that journey yet, you are in a place where your expenses are not expenses but they are investments. You are in a place where you will be very, very good in terms of managing investments. Traders can be seen through these charts. People who manage their family wealth could be seen from this chart, and you will manage your family wealth also very well. You will manage wealth of people very well. Financial knowledge and understanding will be very sound. Your advice to your friend network is going to be very helpful. You are going to spend your energies there. You could have a social circle that could be, very much interested in having conversations which are related to astrology, astronomy, the outside world, uh, the afterlife, and all that stuff. Your enemies, your challenges could be something which are not normal for the rest of us. You will have bigger challenges to address. And you have the ability to overcome those challenges because your 11th Lord, which is the readiness, it is going second to itself. It is going to the growth. So it is going to help you achieve that. Yes, there are tricky bits to the combination as well, which many people will talk that this could mean that along with your constant stream, there is a constant expense stream as well that is there, which is okay. You might find fulfillment of your desires in a foreign land. You might have to go away from your birthplace to achieve some of your goals. So from those angles as well, it is going to become interesting because you are going to find your remedy in terms of working in profession which is related to healthcare, which is related to being in isolation. Like, you might find your remedy or satisfaction by focusing your energy when you are isolated and when you are thinking by yourself, with yourself. But these are mundane understandings. I want for you guys, I would want you to think at a bigger level, because you are meant to do that. You have to take that transformative journey. You could find peace, solace, satisfaction in actually sharing your knowledge with others. If you are watching this, please put in your experiences and share your knowledge with us so that this community can also learn from you. Because you have that in you. You have that readiness available. It is just that you have to figure out when that starting point is. But if this 11th becomes too malefic, the warning I would want to give is that you will burn a lot of your energy in terms of chasing your dreams. You are going to exhaust yourself in every way possible in achieving your goals. And one turbulent thing in this case could also be that you could risk a lot of things from a romance, marriage house perspective into bed pleasures and stuff. Very high, interest, libido, whatever you want to say, whatever word you want to choose, adjective you want to put, would be in that direction towards lustful pursuits as well. But I think there's a greater connotation to what my audience will have at Dev Astrology. And if you've connected with this, please smash on that like button and subscribe to my channel and remain connected. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for watching.